So I went to this coffee farm one day and I saw there were millions and millions of trees. They were all in the flat area in the full sun, tons of rotten fruit on them, tons of underripe green ones, and a big machine going through going just mowing it all down, throwing it all into a big bin, taking off the fruit, drying it out. Tons of black rotten ones, tons of green ones that aren't even developed. Then they just roasted that stuff in thousands of pound batches and made amazing coffee in the canister that luckily for me, they ground and then let sit long enough so it would have no kind of freshness left in order to not ruin the end result for me. And then you say, you know what? I went to this coffee farm. It was amazing. They had this small plot way up high in the mountains at the very peak. It was beautiful. There was citrus and banana and birds chirping, and the soil was so fertile, so fresh. It was volcanic soil from a volcano nearby. It was full of minerals. You could smell the flavor in the soil itself, and the trees were just gorgeous. The leaves were just so shiny, and they had just all perfect green leaves with these clusters of fruit growing on the branches that were just perfect. They were all red, or they were all orange, or they were all yellow, and they were just so nice. I tasted the fruit and it was so sweet. I squeezed the seeds out, the beans of the coffee, and I saw them and they just looked so perfect. I saw these guys, they were picking the beans and only picking the perfect fruit, putting them in their little small buckets. And they brought them to this mill where they meticulously sorted through them. They put them in water, and the ones that weren't perfect floated to the top because there were a few ones that were imperfect. They wanted to make sure they sorted those out. Then they removed the fruit and dried them, and you should have seen how beautifully even all this fruit looked. These seed pits, these coffee beans we call them, they were perfect. There weren't black ones. There weren't green underripe ones. They were all just perfect. Then they dried them, and they went through them after drying, and they sorted out, picked through every single bean. Oh, that one looks a little bit off. Oh, that one looks a little bit off. There's a defect in that one. There's a defect in that one. Sorting them once again, triple sorting them until they had bags where you just pull out those fresh coffee beans and you look at them. I want to call them seeds or pits because that's what they are, but coffee beans, and you look at them and they're just so even, so uniform, so nice, so beautiful. And they smell so nice, like a natural sweetness, but that kind of green, like grassy, hay-like smell that you get from one that's not roasted yet. Well, this is the difference in how coffee's produced. Then they take that coffee from that farm that's produced that special and sorted to that much, and then you roast that coffee to bring it to peak flavor by noticing how much to heat the temp at a certain time and which areas to stretch out to bring out certain flavors in the coffee and how to bring it to a crescendo at the right pace and then roast it till it's just at its peak, pulling it out of the roaster when it's just toasted just so beautifully and you could just smell these sweet smells in the air. It's so beautiful. Drying that or putting that coffee in the bag, sealing it up, sending it off to the customer right after roasting, the day after roasting, them getting it super fresh, smelling a smell you can't get from coffee that's been sitting so beautifully. I say beautiful a lot, right? Because this whole experience is beautiful. Then pouring the coffee and weighing it or measuring it just to the right amount, grinding it up right before brewing, smelling that aroma of just grinding a super fresh specialty coffee and putting it in your brewer and adding the water to it and getting the wet aroma and fragrance, seeing the CO2 coming out and it bubbling up and gassing and getting so creamy and luscious, and the coffee coming through the filter and seeing the color in the coffee and looking how beautiful the color is, almost like a fine wine, pouring it in your cup, letting it sit a couple minutes and open up like a flower as it cools, and tasting those flavors, you transcended right back to that farm, right back to that tree, right back to that whole experience of how it was prepared. Well, that's the difference between commodity grade coffee and specialty coffee. It starts from the beginning and it goes all the way to the end in your cup. So for you, the consumer, the beauty is all you got to do is get the right coffee. Then after that, the brewing's all up to you. Yeah, you could screw it up. But with the tips you're gonna learn on my videos, you're gonna know exactly how to make your coffee, and you're gonna have an experience that's millions of miles away from that canister, pre-staled, mass-produced, underripe green and rotted fruit, roasted until it's smithereens in giant quantities without any love or care put into it. That's the difference you're getting between commodity grade and specialty grade coffee. What's the difference? Well, it's a few bucks more, but you're getting a whole lot more for what you're paying for. You get a specialty coffee where you can tell where it came from, when it was roasted, you brew it the right way, you're gonna get a beautiful, amazing experience from beginning to end. And the beautiful thing about it is you're not gonna have to pay $400 or $100 or even $50 usually like you would pay for a fantastic bottle of wine, right? You can get an awesome coffee. The ones I do, they're between $16 and $25 on my menu right now. You get that $25 Yemeni coffee. It's a unique coffee. It's pretty darn rare, actually. It's the original mocha coffee, one of the first coffees grown in the world. Actually, the first coffee grown like a crop in the world. And it's roasted to bring out the natural flavors. So I have seen it on one other menu at one other place, but it's definitely a lower grade version they had, and they actually roasted it till it was, dark roasted, and so that obscures a lot of the natural flavor. Talk about that over and over, I know. But the point I'm making is one day you're gonna say, oh, now I understand what he's talking about, which would be awesome. And the specialty coffee, you try any of these ones, you're gonna see different places, different roasts, different flavor profiles. Try them out, brew them, appreciate them for what they are. Anytime they don't come out perfect, contact me. I will help you adjust your roast just the way you like. If you live locally in Santa Cruz County, California, I'll come to your home and even work on your whole brewing setup with you. Get the right brewing equipment, go onto the menu on the RiverviewCoffeeRoasters.com, go to the top main menu, scroll down, you're gonna say brewing equipment and tutorials. There's pages on all different kinds of brewers. It teaches you how to brew with them. There's links to get them on Amazon if you want. Make it easy, right? Then you can go ahead and subscribe. What you're gonna get is $1 off every bag, and when you buy more than a certain amount, you're gonna get $2 off every bag. And the beauty is, it charges once a month. You don't have to think about that. It comes exactly the pace you choose, exactly the type of coffee you choose. There's different plans you can do. I got the deluxe plan if you always want the most special, unique coffees. I've got the variety plan for just trying a new thing every time. I've got espresso plans for stuff that's gonna pull great shots. Then I've got a decaf plan for those true coffee lovers that don't care if there's a kick or not in it, right? All right, so you can let me know your preferences. We'll dial it in together. It's gonna change whole thing for you. Like, it's gonna be an experience you didn't even know was possible. And the reward for me is seeing you guys enjoying it. That's what really does it for me, is I'm enjoying it, and then I'm helping other people get that same experience. It's very rewarding. All right, so I'm Ted, signing off. I'll see you on the next one. I'm off to the coffee farm. Happy day.